Advice always carries the energy and perspective of the person giving it. You know, when advice comes from someone in a victim state, then no matter how well-meaning it is, it will carry the lens of their pain, their fear, and even their disempowerment. You know, and this is why following advice from a victim often perpetuates the same cycle of helplessness. Because it is born from survival mode, not from empowerment or accountability. You know, victimhood is a state where someone sees themselves as powerless. They see themselves as acted upon by life rather than acting on it. So, their advice, even if logical, it often frames life as unfair and others as the problem. Now, when you absorb this advice, you inherit that worldview. You may become hyper-aware of injustice, overly focused on external blame, and you end up losing the sight of your own agency. You know, this does not mean that victims are wrong about their pain. Their experiences are real, but their guidance is filtered through unresolved wounds. If you live by that guidance, then you risk taking on their fear, you risk taking on their resentment and their passivity. You know, real growth demands learning from empowered voices that have moved through pain and reached a place of clarity and accountability. Psychologically, advice from a victim often reflects a trauma-informed but unhealed perspective. You know, it reinforces learned helplessness. That is the belief that no matter what you do, you can't change outcomes. And this weakens your internal focus of control. You begin to process events as things that happened to you, rather than things that you can influence. Now, over time, this may breed cynicism. You know, it may breed overprotection and even emotional rigidity. You know, all of which limit your ability to adapt and thrive. Spiritually, absorbing victim-centered advice keeps you locked in lower vibrational states like fear, lower states like anger and even despair. You know, these frequencies limit expansion, and they cloud discernment. You know, true spiritual evolution requires transcending the why me, that why me mindset, and stepping into what now. You know, going forward, what now? This shift from blame to responsibility opens the path to inner freedom and empowerment, allowing you to co-create your life rather than merely survive it. You know, in short, listening to advice from a victim often transmits their survival mentality and keeps you cycling in blame and powerlessness. It reinforces learned helplessness. You know, it keeps you in a low vibrational state. Learn from people who have healed and taken responsibility for their lives. Those who speak from a place of empowerment. You know, so that your own advice to yourself moves you from survival into growth and mastery. My people, heal. Heal.